Welcome back to my channel. Today we explore the value of a specific coin, the top 10 most valuable Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny. So let's get started. First up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny of 1943 without mint mark. This coin was made during World War II when copper was needed for war supplies, so the United States decided to change the metal of the 1-cent coin from copper to steel coated with zinc. This decision makes the 1943 steel penny very special and highly recognizable even for beginner collectors. The 1943 wheat steel penny without mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions of these coins were made. But condition plays a very important role in value. Most of these coins were used heavily during the war years, and many of them today are found in dirty, worn, or damaged condition. A normal, dirty condition steel penny usually shows gray color, dark spots, scratches, rust stains, loss of original shine. On the front of the coin, you see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1943. The back of the coin shows two wheat ears around the words 1 cent and United States of America. This design was used from 1909 to 1958 and is very popular among collectors. Because the coin is made of steel, it reacts differently to moisture compared to copper. Many steel pennies developed rust over time, especially if stored in poor conditions. Dirt, grease, and corrosion are very common on circulated examples. A normal, dirty condition means the coin has visible wear, flat details, and dull color, but the date and design are still readable. Now let's talk about value. In today's market, a 1943 steel penny without mint mark in normal, dirty, circulated condition is not extremely rare, but it is still collectible due to its historical importance. In today's market, this type of coin usually sells for around $1 to $5, depending on how dirty or damaged it is. Coins with heavy rust or holes may sell closer to the lower end of this range, while coins with clear details and less corrosion can reach the higher end of this range. It is important to remember that cleaning a steel penny is not recommended. Cleaning can reduce the value even more. Collectors prefer original, dirty coins over cleaned ones because cleaning removes the original surface and can cause more damage. Many people confuse the common 1943 steel penny with the extremely rare 1943 copper penny. The copper version is worth thousands of dollars, but the steel version sticks to a magnet and is much more common. Always test your coin with a magnet to confirm it is steel. Even though the value of a dirty 1943 steel penny is modest, it is still a great piece of history to own. It represents a time when the country was at war and everyday items, including coins, were changed to support the effort. For collectors, beginners, and history lovers, this coin remains an important part of American numismatic history. If you have a 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny without mint mark in normal, dirty condition, keep it safe, store it in a dry place, and do not clean it. As years go by, interest in historical coins continues, and even common pieces like this one hold strong educational and collectible value. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny from 1943 with the D mint mark. This coin looks simple at first glance, but its story, value, and collector interest make it very special, especially when it is found in dirty, circulated condition. The year 1943 was a turning point for United States coinage because of World War II. Copper was needed for ammunition and military equipment, so the mint decided to change the composition of the 1-cent coin. Instead of copper, the penny was made from steel coated with zinc. This decision was temporary and only used for 1 year, which already makes the 1943 steel penny unique. The Denver Mint produced a large number of 1943 steel pennies, and these coins carried the small D mint mark below the date on the obverse side. Even though millions were made, many of them did not survive in perfect condition because steel rusts easily and reacts badly to moisture, dirt, and air. Most examples today are found in circulated, dirty, or darkened condition, just like the coin we are discussing. The obverse of the coin shows the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. This design was first introduced in 1909, and by 1943 it was already familiar to the public. The words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1943 are clearly visible, though on dirty coins these details can appear weak or faded. The D mint mark under the date confirms that the coin was struck in Denver. The reverse side features the famous wheat ears design with two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat reverse design was used until 1958, making it one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coin history. On dirty steel pennies, the reverse often shows dark spots, discoloration, or light rust, especially around the edges. A dirty condition steel penny usually means the coin has heavy circulation wear, surface grime, possible dark gray or black areas, and sometimes early signs of rust. This condition is very common for 1943 steel cents, and collectors understand that finding a perfectly clean example is much harder than finding a worn one. Many people believe that dirty or damaged coins have no value, but that is not always true for historical coins like the 1943 D steel penny. Even in dirty circulated condition, these coins are still collected because of their wartime story and unique metal composition. In today's market, a 1943 D Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny in dirty circulated condition generally sells for about $0.25 to $1.50, depending on how strong the details are and how much rust is present. Coins with heavy rust, holes, or peeling zinc may be worth closer to the lower end of this range, while coins that are dirty but still solid with readable details can reach the higher end of this range. If the coin has unusual features like partial zinc coating, missing dark toning patterns, or light lamination issues, some collectors may pay a little more, but normal dirty examples usually stay within this value range. Collector interest in the 1943 steel penny remains strong because it represents a moment when the entire country adjusted daily life to support the war effort. Even a simple penny tells a story of sacrifice and change, and that emotional connection keeps demand alive. Many new collectors start their journey with wheat pennies, and the 1943 steel cent is often one of the first unusual coins they encounter. Its magnetic steel surface, its different color, and its war history make it stand out from other pennies. If you own a dirty 1943 D steel penny, it is best not to clean it harshly. Cleaning can reduce collector value and damage the zinc coating, leaving the steel exposed to rust. Gentle storage in a dry environment is the safest choice. To summarize, the most valuable aspect of the 1943 D Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny is not only its price, but its history. In dirty, circulated condition, this coin is a reminder of wartime America, and even today it holds steady value in the collector's market, ranging from a few cents to over $1 depending on condition. If you enjoy learning about rare and valuable coins like this one, keep watching because every old coin has a story, and sometimes even the dirtiest penny can still be worth more than you expect. Next up, the year 1943 with Demon mark in extra fine condition. This coin has a very special story, and collectors all over the world search for it because of its history, rarity, and market demand. In 1943, the United States was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was needed for war supplies like ammunition and electrical equipment. Because of this, the mint changed the composition of the 1-cent coin from bronze to steel-coated zinc. This decision created the only regular-issue steel penny in United States history, and that single year makes these coins instantly interesting to collectors. The 1943 Lincoln steel penny was produced at 3 mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D-Mint mark shows that this coin was made at the Denver Mint. Coins from Denver are especially popular among collectors because of their strong strikes and lower survival rates in higher grades compared to some other issues. The design of the coin stayed the same as earlier wheat pennies. On the front side, you see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the date 1943. On the back side, there are 2 wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This classic wheat reverse design ended in 1958, which makes all wheat pennies even more collectible today. Steel pennies look very different from normal copper pennies. They have a silver-gray color and are magnetic because of the steel core. Many people mistake them for dimes at first glance. Over time, these coins often develop dark spots, scratches, or rust because steel reacts easily with moisture. Finding a steel penny in extra fine condition with clean surfaces and strong detail is not easy. extra fine condition means the coin still shows sharp detail on Lincoln face, hair, and coat lines. The wheat ears on the back remain clear and bold, with only light wear on the highest points. There should be minimal rust, no heavy corrosion, and the original steel color should still be visible. Coins like this are much harder to find than heavily worn examples. Collectors also look closely at the D mint mark placement and shape. On genuine examples, it should appear just below the date on the front side and match known mint characteristics. Authenticity is very important because steel pennies are sometimes altered or replated, so original surfaces add significant value. In today's market, the value of a 1943 steel wheat penny with D mint mark in extra fine condition is much higher than common circulated examples. While worn pieces may sell for just a few dollars, an extra fine example can reach values around $200 to $400, depending on eye appeal, surface quality, and collector demand. Particularly clean and attractive pieces can sometimes sell for even more in strong auction markets. The value can increase further if the coin has exceptional strike quality, bright original color, and no spotting. Many collectors build full sets of Lincoln wheat pennies by date and mint mark, and the 1943 D steel penny is an essential part of that collection. Demand stays strong year after year because new collectors enter the hobby and want historically important coins. This coin also represents a unique moment in American history when everyday objects were changed to support the war effort. Holding a 1943 steel penny is like holding a small piece of that history, which adds emotional value beyond just money. If you own one of these coins, it is best to store it carefully in a dry environment away from moisture to prevent rust. Avoid cleaning the coin because cleaning can reduce value significantly. Original condition is always preferred by collectors. The 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with D mint mark in extra fine condition is a true collectible that combines history, rarity, and strong market interest, making it one of the most valuable and talked about wheat pennies among collectors today. Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with S mint mark. This coin was produced during World War II when copper was needed for military use, so the United States changed the penny composition from copper to zinc-coated steel, making 1943 the only year regular pennies were made from steel. This historical change alone makes the 1943 steel penny very popular among collectors. The obverse of the coin shows the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner with the date 1943 clearly visible, and just below the date you can find the S mint mark, which means this coin was struck at the San Francisco Mint. The San Francisco Mint produced fewer steel pennies compared to other mints, which adds extra collector interest to this variety. The reverse of the coin displays two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America with the motto E pluribus unum at the top. This classic wheat design was used from 1909 to 1958 and is one of the most loved designs in U.S. coinage history. Now let us talk about condition, because condition plays a very important role in determining value. The coin discussed in this video is in dirty condition, which usually means the surface has dark spots, stains, discoloration, or buildup from long-term circulation. Steel pennies are especially sensitive to moisture, and many of them develop rust or dark patches over time. A dirty steel penny is very common because these coins were used heavily during the war years. Even in dirty condition, a genuine 1943 S mint mark steel penny still has value because of its history and limited mintage. Collectors often look for these coins to complete wheat penny sets or World War II collections. In today's market, a 1943 S steel penny in dirty circulated condition is generally worth around $1 to $3, depending on how much original detail remains and whether there is rust damage. Coins with less rust and clearer details may sell slightly higher, while heavily corroded examples may stay closer to the lower end of the range. It is important to understand that steel pennies are often mistaken for silver coins, but they are not silver. They are magnetic, so a simple magnet test can help confirm authenticity. A real 1943 steel penny will stick to a magnet, while copper pennies will not. This is an easy way to avoid confusion. Collectors should also be careful about altered coins, because some copper pennies from other years are sometimes coated to look like steel. Always check weight, magnet response, and surface texture before assuming a coin is rare. The 1943 wheat steel penny represents a unique moment in American history when everyday money reflected wartime needs. Even in dirty condition, it remains a collectible piece that tells a powerful story of sacrifice and change. If you have one of these coins in your collection, it's worth keeping and preserving because demand for historic wheat pennies continues to grow over time. This coin may not make you rich in dirty condition, but it still holds real value and strong collector interest, making it an important and meaningful piece for any coin enthusiast or history lover. Next up, 1943 was a very important year for the United States, and that importance is clearly reflected in the Lincoln wheat penny issued during this time. The country was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was needed for military equipment, ammunition, and communication tools. Because of this, the government decided to change the metal used for 1-cent coins. Instead of the usual bronze, the 1943 Lincoln wheat penny was made from steel coated with zinc. This is why it looks silver or gray in color and is often called a steel penny. The coin still carries the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front, a design that was first introduced in 1909. On this 1943 issue, Lincoln's face shows strong detail, especially in extra fine condition. His hairlines, cheekbone, jaw, and coat are clearly visible with only light wear. The words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" are sharp and readable, and the date 1943 stands out clearly. On coins without a mint mark, this means the penny was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark under the date during that time. On the reverse side, the design shows two wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. This wheat design was used from 1909 until 1958 and is one of the most loved designs among collectors. In extra fine condition, the wheat lines are still strong and separated. The lettering is bold and the overall look of the coin is clean and attractive. Even though the coin is made of steel, the details can be surprisingly sharp when well preserved. A 1943 Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition was produced in very large numbers. Millions were made, which means it is not a rare coin in general. However, condition plays a big role in value. Many of these coins were heavily used and later rusted or damaged because steel reacts easily to moisture. Coins that survived in extra fine condition are more desirable because they show less wear and usually retain much of their original surface. An extra fine example shows only light circulation wear. The high points, such as Lincoln's cheek and jaw, may show slight smoothing, but most details remain clear. There should be no heavy rust, deep scratches, or major stains. A clean, extra fine example looks sharp when viewed closely and still has strong eye appeal compared to worn or damaged pieces. When it comes to value in today's market, a standard 1943 Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition is generally valued around $1 to about $3, depending on overall appearance, brightness, and surface quality. Coins that are cleaner with minimal spots and no corrosion tend to sell toward the higher end of this range. Coins with dull surfaces or light staining usually fall closer to the lower end. It is very important to understand that this value only applies to the normal steel version. Many people hear stories about extremely valuable 1943 pennies. Those stories are usually about rare copper 1943 pennies that were mistakenly struck on bronze planchets. These copper 1943 pennies are extremely rare and worth a huge amount of money. The regular steel penny, like the one discussed here, does not reach those prices, but it is still an important historical coin. Collectors enjoy this coin because it represents a unique moment in history. It's the only year when the Lincoln wheat penny was made primarily from steel. This makes it stand out in any collection. Even though it is affordable, it carries strong historical meaning and often is one of the first coins new collectors learn about. For someone holding a 1943 Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition, the value may not be life-changing, but it is still a solid collectible. Keeping the coin dry, protected from moisture, and stored properly can help preserve its condition. Over time, clean examples remain popular among collectors who want quality pieces rather than heavily damaged coins. In simple terms, a 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny without a mint mark in extra fine condition is worth a few dollars in today's market. Its value comes from its wartime history, unique metal composition, and preserved detail. While it is not rare, it is a classic and meaningful coin that continues to attract attention from collectors around the world. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny from 1943 without mint mark in normal condition. This coin looks very different from other wheat pennies, and because of that, many people still search for it today and wonder if it has value. And the answer is yes, it does have value, even in normal circulated condition. The year 1943 was very special because the United States was involved in World War II. During this time, copper was needed for military equipment, so the government decided to change the metal used for pennies. Instead of copper, they used steel coated with zinc. This is why the 1943 penny looks silver or gray in color and feels different from regular wheat pennies. The 1943 steel penny without mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions of these coins were made. But even though the mintage was high, many coins were later damaged, lost, or destroyed because steel rusts easily, especially when the zinc coating wears off. This makes clean and normal condition examples more desirable today. The design of the coin stayed the same as earlier wheat pennies. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1943. On the back, you see two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This classic wheat design is loved by collectors all over the world. A normal condition 1943 steel penny means the coin has been circulated but still has clear details. You can read the date and letters easily, and the coin is not heavily rusted. Some light wear, small scratches, or slight color change is acceptable as long as the coin is not badly damaged or deeply corroded. In today's market, a 1943 steel wheat penny without mint mark in normal condition usually sells in the range of $20 to $50, depending on eye appeal, color, and overall condition. Coins that still have a bright steel look with minimal rust are more attractive to collectors and can sell toward the higher end of this range. Many people confuse the common steel penny with the extremely rare copper 1943 penny, which is worth thousands of dollars. But it is important to understand that the steel version is the correct and official coin for that year. Still, even though it is not worth thousands, it is far from worthless and remains a valuable collectible. This coin is popular with beginners and experienced collectors because it tells a powerful story about wartime America, metal shortages, and changes in coin production. It is also easy to recognize, which makes it a favorite for people searching through old collections or inherited coins. If you own a 1943 steel penny without mint mark, keep it in a dry place, avoid moisture, and do not clean it because cleaning can reduce its value. Natural original condition is always preferred by collectors. Even a normal condition example can hold steady value over time. The Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny of 1943 remains a symbol of history, sacrifice, and change, and that is why collectors continue to seek it today. Its unique metal, wartime background, and solid market demand make it one of the most talked about wheat pennies even decades later. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny from 1943 without mint mark in normal condition. This coin looks very different from other wheat pennies, and because of that, many people still search for it today and wonder if it has value. And the answer is yes, it does have value, even in normal circulated condition. The year 1943 was very special because the United States was involved in World War II. During this time, copper was needed for military equipment, so the government decided to change the metal used for pennies. Instead of copper, they used steel coated with zinc. This is why the 1943 penny looks silver or gray in color and feels different from regular wheat pennies. The 1943 steel penny without mint mark was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions of these coins were made. But even though the mintage was high, many coins were later damaged, lost, or destroyed because steel rusts easily, especially when the zinc coating wears off. This makes clean and normal condition examples more desirable today. The design of the coin stayed the same as earlier wheat pennies. On the front, you see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1943. On the back, you see two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. This classic wheat design is loved by collectors all over the world. A normal condition 1943 steel penny means the coin has been circulated but still has clear details. You can read the date and letters easily, and the coin is not heavily rusted. Some light wear, small scratches, or slight color change is acceptable as long as the coin is not badly damaged or deeply corroded. In today's market, a 1943 steel wheat penny without mint mark in normal condition usually sells in the range of $20 to $50, depending on eye appeal, color, and overall condition. Coins that still have a bright steel look with minimal rust are more attractive to collectors and can sell toward the higher end of this range. Many people confuse the common steel penny with the extremely rare copper 1943 penny, which is worth thousands of dollars. But it is important to understand that the steel version is the correct and official coin for that year. Still, even though it is not worth thousands, it is far from worthless and remains a valuable collectible. This coin is popular with beginners and experienced collectors because it tells a powerful story about wartime America, metal shortages, and changes in coin production. It is also easy to recognize, which makes it a favorite for people searching through old collections or inherited coins. If you own a 1943 steel penny without mint mark, keep it in a dry place, avoid moisture, and do not clean it because cleaning can reduce its value. Natural original condition is always preferred by collectors. Even a normal condition example can hold steady value over time. The Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny of 1943 remains a symbol of history, sacrifice, and change, and that is why collectors continue to seek it today. Its unique metal, wartime background, and solid market demand make it one of the most talked about wheat pennies even decades later. Next up, the Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny of 1943 without mint mark. This coin was made during World War II, when copper was needed for war supplies, so the United States decided to make pennies from zinc-coated steel instead of copper. This decision created one of the most unique-looking coins ever produced, and that is why collectors around the world still love and search for this penny today. The 1943 steel penny without mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and millions of these coins were produced. But even with high mintage, finding one today in extra fine condition is not easy because steel coins rust easily, and many were damaged or destroyed over time. People did not like these coins when they were released because they looked similar to dimes and were often confused in daily use. Many were lost, thrown away, or corroded, which makes surviving examples more interesting for collectors today. The design of this coin features Abraham Lincoln on the front, with strong details in the hair, coat, and facial features. In extra fine condition, most of the fine lines in Lincoln's hair are still visible. The cheek and jaw show light wear, but remain sharp. The wheat ears on the back are bold and clear, with only slight flattening. And the words 1 cent and United States of America are strong and readable. The zinc coating still shows a silver-gray color with only minor dullness in protected areas. Now let us talk about damaged condition, which is also very common for this coin. Damage can include rust spots, dark stains, peeling zinc coating, scratches, edge nicks, and corrosion. Because steel reacts with moisture, many 1943 pennies developed bubbling or rough surfaces. Even damaged examples are collected today because of the historical importance of the coin and because it represents a change in wartime coinage. Some collectors specifically look for damaged coins to show how steel pennies aged over time. In today's market, the value of a 1943 steel penny without mint mark depends heavily on condition. In extra fine condition, with minimal damage and original surface, this coin can be worth around $1 to $3, sometimes slightly more if the coin has strong eye appeal and clean surfaces without heavy spotting. Examples with very light wear and almost full detail may attract higher interest from beginner and intermediate collectors. In damaged condition, the value is lower, but the coin is still collectible. A heavily rusted or corroded 1943 steel penny without mint mark usually sells for around 20 to 75 cents, depending on how severe the damage is. Coins with peeling zinc or deep rust pits are worth less, but lightly damaged coins with partial shine and readable details still have some value, especially for educational collections and wartime sets. Many people ask why this coin is valuable when the price seems low. The answer is that value is not only about price, but also about demand, history, and popularity. The 1943 steel penny is one of the most well-known Lincoln cents ever made. Almost everyone has heard about it, and many people want to own at least one. This constant demand keeps the market active and prices stable even for common examples. It is also important to know that there are many fakes and altered coins in the market. Some copper-colored 1943 pennies are not real copper errors, but steel pennies that were plated or altered. Real steel pennies will stick to a magnet, so this is a simple test you can do at home. Always be careful and learn before buying or selling any coin. Collectors also like this coin because it tells a story of sacrifice and change during World War II. Every time you hold a 1943 steel penny, you are holding a piece of history from a time when materials were carefully controlled and everyday items were changed for the war effort. This emotional and historical connection adds to the appeal of the coin. If you find a 1943 steel penny without mint mark in extra fine condition, keep it safe. Store it in a dry place away from moisture to prevent rust. Even damaged coins should be protected because further corrosion can reduce value over time. Using simple holders can help preserve what remains of the surface. In conclusion, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny without mint mark is a classic collectible coin. Extra fine examples are valued at around $1 to $3, while damaged examples usually range from 20 to 75 cents in today's market. This coin may not make you rich, but it's one of the most important and interesting pennies ever made, and a must-have for any Lincoln cent collection. Thanks for watching, and keep checking your coins, because history can still be hiding in your pocket. Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with the S mint mark is one of the most interesting and talked about coins in United States coin history, and even collectors today remain fascinated by this unusual penny because it was never meant to exist in normal copper form during that year. In 1943, the United States was deeply involved in World War II, and copper was a critical metal needed for weapons, ammunition, and military equipment. Because of this, the U.S. Mint decided to change the composition of the 1-cent coin from copper to zinc-coated steel. This decision created the famous steel penny, which looks silver gray instead of the traditional brown color people were used to seeing. The San Francisco Mint struck millions of these steel pennies in 1943, and they can be identified by the small S mint mark located below the date on the front of the coin. The design still featured Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat ears on the reverse, which is why it is called a wheat penny. Even though the design remained the same, the new steel material caused many problems. These coins rusted easily, especially when the zinc coating wore off, and they were often confused with dimes because of their silver color. A dirty condition 1943 S steel penny usually shows dark gray or blackened surfaces, rust spots, stains, and heavy wear from circulation. Dirt and corrosion are very common on these coins because steel reacts quickly to moisture and air. Many people stored them improperly in the past, which caused further damage. Even in dirty condition, these pennies are still collected because they represent a unique wartime change in American history. When evaluating the value of a 1943 S Lincoln wheat steel penny in dirty condition, collectors look at several factors. The first is authenticity, because steel pennies are magnetic and a real example will stick to a magnet. The second factor is how much original zinc coating remains. On dirty coins, most of the coating is gone and rust is visible. The third factor is wear on Lincoln's face and the wheat stalks on the back. Heavy wear lowers the value, but does not eliminate collector interest. In today's market, a genuine 1943 S Lincoln wheat steel penny in dirty, circulated condition usually sells for about $1 to $3, depending on how much rust and damage is present. If the coin has extreme corrosion, holes, or deep pitting, the value may be closer to $1. If it still has strong details but looks dark and dirty, it can reach around $2 to $3. Cleaned or polished examples do not increase value and often sell for less than naturally worn coins. Many people believe all 1943 pennies are rare and extremely valuable, but that is not true for steel examples. Millions were made. However, what makes them special is the story behind them and their unique appearance. The truly rare 1943 pennies are the copper ones made by mistake, which are worth thousands of dollars. The steel version with the S mint mark remains affordable for beginner collectors and history lovers. Collectors often keep dirty condition steel pennies as found because cleaning can actually damage the surface and reduce value. Even rust tells part of the coin's history, showing how it survived decades of circulation, handling, and storage. For YouTube viewers and new collectors, this coin is a perfect example of how historical events directly changed everyday money. The 1943 S. Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny may not make someone rich, but it is still a valuable piece of American wartime history. Its value in today's market reflects both its condition and its story. Even in dirty condition, it holds steady interest and remains a must-have coin for anyone building a Lincoln cent collection or learning about rare and unusual U.S. coins. Next up, the 1943 Abraham Lincoln wheat steel penny with an S mint mark is one of the most intriguing and valuable coins in United States numismatics due to its unique composition and historical significance. During World War II, copper was critically needed for the war effort, which led the United States Mint to change the composition of the 1-cent coin from the traditional bronze alloy to zinc-coated steel for the year 1943. This temporary change resulted in the creation of the steel cent, which is magnetic and has a distinct silver-gray appearance compared to the familiar copper-colored pennies. The coins were produced at 3 mints in 1943, including the San Francisco Mint, which is identified by the S mint mark. The 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny in extra fine condition is particularly notable for collectors because surviving examples in this grade are scarce and highly sought after. Extra fine condition indicates that the coin exhibits only minor wear on the highest points of the design. On the obverse, the portrait of Abraham Lincoln shows sharp detail in the hair, beard, and facial features, while the lettering and date remain crisp. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears design, and in extra fine condition, the lines of the wheat stalks remain well defined with minimal flattening from circulation. The steel composition makes these coins susceptible to rust and corrosion, so coins that have retained their original steel luster without significant spotting or oxidation are exceptionally desirable. The 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny has a mintage of approximately 29,800,000, which is significantly lower than the Philadelphia and Denver mintages for the same year. The lower production at the San Francisco Mint contributes to its relative rarity, especially in higher grades like extra fine. Collectors highly value coins from this mint due to the combination of limited supply and historical interest as a wartime issue. Additionally, because the coin is made of steel, it has a very different handling and appearance compared to traditional copper pennies, making it a visually striking addition to any collection. One of the key factors in determining the value of the 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny is its condition. Coins in circulated condition with wear and light corrosion are moderately priced, but examples in extra fine condition command a significant premium. Market values fluctuate based on collector demand and the coin's preservation, but as of today, a 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny in extra fine condition typically ranges between $100 and $150. Coins with exceptional eye appeal, full original luster, and minimal spotting may sell for higher amounts in private sales or auctions. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that have been carefully preserved over the decades, and the San Francisco Mint steel cents remain one of the highlights of wartime coinage collections. Collectors also pay close attention to the coin's strike quality and any signs of errors or unusual characteristics. Although the 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny is generally uniform in design, some coins may exhibit striking anomalies such as double dies or off-center strikes, which can further increase value. The history of the coin as part of the wartime minting effort and its distinct steel composition make it a conversation piece and a tangible link to the economic and industrial circumstances of the early 1940s. The coin represents both a historical artifact and a collectible, offering insight into the challenges faced by the mint during one of the most challenging periods in American history. In conclusion, the 1943 S. Lincoln steel penny in extra fine condition represents one of the most valuable and historically significant 1-cent coins ever produced by the United States Mint. Its limited mintage, wartime context, and preservation in high grade make it a highly collectible coin, with current market values typically ranging between $100 and $150. For collectors, it offers both historical insight and aesthetic appeal, making it an essential addition to any serious Lincoln cent or wartime coinage collection. The coin's steel composition, the clear depiction of Abraham Lincoln, and the well-preserved wheat reverse all contribute to its desirability and market value. This coin remains a fascinating example of numismatic history and a testament to the adaptability and resourcefulness of the mint during one of the most challenging periods in American history.